Hello dear students, welcome to Prakash Kulkarni's English grammar classes. Now we are studying exam-oriented 10th standard English grammar book, that too first language. Now please note that every question on grammar counts a lot. So generally we lose more marks in grammar. Please don't lose, try to understand. So there are varieties of items in grammar to test your knowledge of English. In this episode, you are going to study about antonyms. Antonyms means opposite words. Now, let's directly go to the exercise. Fill in the blanks with the antonyms of the words underlined. Here, some words in each sentence they are underlined, but here it is not underlined, but here it is printed boldly. Okay, and you have to write opposite word to this bold word. The first sentence is, the rain-fed tanks are not deep. So what is the opposite word or antonym of deep we should write here. Second one, the authorities who talk about afforestation are actively engaged in dash. So the antonym of afforestation we have to write. In the third sentence, the rural students have fared better than their dash counterparts. So opposite of rural we have to write. In the fourth sentence, it is a big tragedy for that fertile minds are engaged in a dash debate. So opposite word of fertile we have to write in the blank. And in the fifth sentence, the fruits were fresh, but the cream was dash. So what is the opposite word of fresh? Now please see, the first sentence answer is shallow. So the opposite word of deep is shallow. In the second one is, opposite word of afforestation is deforestation. In the third sentence, the rural students, rural, opposite of rural is urban counterparts. And in the fourth sentence, fertile, it is a bold word, and the opposite of fertile is infertile. And in the fifth sentence, see here, the fruits were fresh. So the opposite or antonym of fresh is stale. Stale andre koletadu. So this way you have to be in touch with antonyms. Let's go to some more sentences. Dash monuments are aesthetically displayed in a modern setting. So the opposite of modern you have to think of. In the second sentence, in these writings, it is difficult to segregate fact from dash. So the opposite word of fact is what? In the third sentence, the joy in the newfound prosperity made them forget their days of dash. So the opposite word of prosperity we should write. And when we saw her in courage, he felt ashamed of his own dash. So the opposite of courage we should write here. And in the sixth sentence, when we need to overcome our temptation, not dash to it. Now let us study the first sentence. Old students, old monuments. Now old is the antonym of modern. In the second one, fact, Opposite of FACT, fact, is fiction. In the third sentence, prosperity is a bold word, and opposite of prosperity is hardship, the days of hardship. And in the fourth sentence, her courage. Courage is the word, and opposite of courage is cowardice. Then coming to fifth one, overcome is the opposite word, and its opposite is yield, YIELD. Now, let's go to the next one. Antonym again, the iron rails dash in summer and contract in winter. So, opposite of contract we should write here. In the second one, writing a novel is laborious process, laborious, and it is not a dash. In the third sentence, we should remain calm in dash as we do in times of prosperity. So here, what is the opposite of prosperity? We should write. And in the fourth sentence, he is very proud of his term's achievement, but he is very dash about his glory, his glorious moments or achievements. And in the fifth sentence, the former option would be much more sensible than the dash one. So the first sentence answer is the iron rails expand. Opposite of contract is expand. In the second sentence, laborious. Opposite of laborious is easy. And in the third one, we should remain calm in poverty. Poverty, opposite of poverty is prosperity. Then coming to proud, he is very proud of his team's achievements, but it is very dash, that is humble. Opposite of proud is humble. And in the last sentence, fifth one, the former option would be much more sensible than the dash one. Here opposite of former is latter, LATTER. Now coming to fill in the blanks with antonyms of words given. Please note here, in Bangalore, the value of properties has appreciated, but the quality of life has a dash. So what is the opposite word of appreciated? In the second sentence, investigating in shares requires prudence. Investing all your money in your shares is dash. So the opposite of prudence is what? In the third sentence, the machines are dash, but they are idle. Now become there is no electricity, because there is no electricity. So the opposite of idle is what? You have to write here. And coming to fourth sentence, some of the students were dash in the lesson while the rest were uninterested in it. So the opposite of uninterested is disinterested. And in the fifth sentence, we have dashed new manager because the previous one was dismissed. So what is the opposite of dismissed? Now let us study the answers. In the first sentence, opposite of appreciated is depreciated. And in the second sentence, prudence. Opposite of prudence is imprudence. Third one is the machines are built busy. Machines are busy. So busy, opposite of busy is idle, or idle opposite is busy. And coming to fourth one, so some of the students were interested in lesson, but the rest were uninterested in it. So coming to fifth one, we have appointed a new manager because the previous manager was dismissed. So appointed, dismissed, they are the opposite words. So coming to once again fill in the blanks with opposite words of the underline. Now see the first one. To maintain one's health, one should eat food that is dash not good. So what do you fill up here? You have to think of. So such type of questions will be asked in the examination. Second one, someone dropped a burning cigarette on the carpet and that was the dash of the fire. So ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಫ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ನೌನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. So therefore, so what is the opposite of the effect? And in the third sentence, the wounded tiger dashed the hunter and he was unable to diffuse himself. And what is the opposite of diffuse? Then our army has checked the enemies and they have no other option to retreat. So now let us study the opposite words of these words. Now, to remain, one should eat good, that is fresh. So fresh is the opposite of old. In the second sentence, cause is the opposite of effect. Third one, attacked. Opposite of attacked is diffuse. Chadaru odi hogu. Fourth one, our army has checked the enemies dash. Now the answer is advance. Fifth one, there is a dash improvement in the school results since 2006. Thank God, it is not regressive. So here regressive means opposite word progressive. Now one more set of exercises you have for opposite words. We live on the dash sphere. Heavenly bodies are on the celestial sphere. So now here we are going to study the answers of these. In the second sentence, the Indian team was very hopeful of winning, but their defeat left them. Now hopeful, opposite of hopeful. And the young have virtually, but the old have to cope with theirs. Now vitality, first one is vitality, Chaitanya. Now let us go to fourth one. The heroic mood was the lost after the battle. So what is the opposite of heroic? We have to write here. And the last one is, now first one is earthly, celestial, hopeful, opposite word is pessimistic. Vitality means lethargy. Heroic means fearful. Coming to some more examples here. Don't be reckless. be dash. Opposite of reckless we should write. Joshua remains dash even after high perturbance situations. Now, what is the opposite of perturbance? The third one is don't be crooked, be open and dash. There we should write antonym word. Peter, a highly undisciplined chap, could never be any part of highly dash, that is highly residential school. So, what is the opposite word of undisciplined? Now, let us study here. Opposite of reckless is cautious. Opposite of perturbed means composed. Third one, don't be crooked. Opposite of crooked is honest. Fourth one is Peter, a highly undisciplined chap. Undisciplined, opposite of undisciplined is a disciplined residential school. So, this way they may ask you antonyms or the opposite words from your textbook. You can practice a lot from previous question papers and model question papers. Try to be thorough and don't think that I can prepare for only annual exam, but for your whole life English language is important for communication. Study well. Okay, let's meet once again in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye, please.